Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. How are you all? I'm just enjoying some toast. Today, I was supposed to be my £50 cruelty-free challenge video. However, my stuff hasn't arrived. So this is Tuesday night, and during the day on Tuesday I thought, oh, I haven't got a video prepared for Wednesday. What am I going to do? I thought I'd go old school and do an on my shelf tag. So an on my shelf is a video where you ask for you give your God, I'm making this much more complicated than it needs to be. You give out a range of numbers, so a number which corresponds to the amount of shelves you have. So I have 12 shelves, and a number that corresponds to the amount of books you have, and then you ask people to give you numbers and you pull those books off the shelf and then you show them, which I thought would be nice. I haven't done one of those since I've been on the new shelves, but I also thought, why not ask people what their favourite thing to have on toast is? Just as fun. And then I got to thinking how much I love toast, so I've got toast. So not only will you be seeing some books from my shelves and watching me eat toast, nice, you will also be hearing about some other people's favourite things to have on toast. I'm just going to align that there because it wasn't very central. However, now I am. So the first one was Emma. She gave me shelf 2, book number 58. And that is a graphic novel called Queer, A Graphic History by Meg John Barker and Julia Scheel. Now, I haven't read this. I bought this from a LGBTQ plus bookshop in Brighton, whose name bloody escapes me now. Let me see if the receipt's inside. It's not. But this is a graphic guide, a graphic history to queer history, which I feel is very, very important, and I must read it at some time. So yeah, I've got this. I haven't read it. It's very heavy, but that's where I've got it. Next bit of toast. Forgot to say, Emma's favourite thing to have on toast is butter or jam. I love butter. I don't really like jam on toast. The next one is Charlie Brooke, and she said shelf 2, book 24, and that was The Invisible Child and the Fir Tree by Tove Jansson. So this is a book that was released by Oxfam. It was £4.99 in conjunction with Waterstones, and all £4.99 from the whole book goes to Oxfam projects supporting women and girls worldwide, which is amazing. And it's just got 2 short stories about the Moomins in here. One is The Fir Tree and the other is The Invisible Child, as said on here. And yeah, it's just a really cute little book with a really good message that and support for women's projects. So very, very good. And my cousin Laura got that for me for Christmas. And Charlie Brooke likes a poached egg on toast. I have to agree, Charlie Brooke, that is a good topping to have on toast. The next one is Shelby Cat, and she said shelf 7, book 40, which is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter, a vintage classic hardback edition. This is almost in my toast, but also very gorgeous. The end papers have got all keys and a red key, and the front cover has got all of this, which I imagine relate to the stories inside. This is a selection of short stories, I believe, a bit of free retellings, and some terribly dark and sensual and fantastic stories. I haven't read any Angela Carter. Is The Bloody Chamber a good place to start? And is this beautiful? We all know it is. Oh, there's a little pomegranate on the back there. There's all sorts of things. A little red ribbon. Very sensual. And Shelby Cat likes butter and honey. I also like butter and honey. Or Cambozola, which I think is a cheese. Am I right? Is that a cheese? Am I right? Is that a cheese? Next bet. The next selection was from Mum's book collection, and she picked shelf 33, book 33, and this is a book that, hurrah, I have read. It is A History of Women in 100 Objects by Maggie Andrews and Janice Lomas. I have talked about this recently. I've read it in the past sort of month or so, and it is 100, as it says on the tin, it's 100 items in women's history and then an explanation on them. But I really, really like this in that it brings it bang up to date with things that are happening now, so it's able to relate to things that's happening now. So it might talk about the introduction of the pill, and then it will go on to say about birth control in the world today, and it'll have all sorts of things in there. I'm just going to flick randomly. The Bronze Age cosmetic box. So in here it will talk about cosmetics through the ages and what makeup women have used as time's gone on. So yeah, really would definitely encourage people to buy this if you're interested in women's history. very, very, very interesting, and I found myself sort of like talking to people about it, like, oh, I'm reading this book at the moment and this says this. So yeah, very, very, very interesting. That's published by the History Press and they were kind enough to send that to me. And Mum's book collection says that her favourite topping for toast, which I think I would be interested in, is butter and sugar or cinnamon. Oh, imagine that. Autumnal. Reading by Jade picks shelf number 1 and book number 7. Now, shelf number 1 has got all my favourites on. It is books that I have given 5 stars and have appeared in my favourites videos. This one is The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. I don't really need to go into details about this, do I, guys? We all know about his dark materials and how wonderful they are. This is the 3rd in the series. I bought all my copies from the Oxfam bookshop in Canterbury where I was a student. The girl that I lived with, who is a very dear friend of mine, Dolores, she bought me the first book, and I loved it so much that I went and bought the Subtle Knife and the Amber Spyglass in the Oxfam bookshop, and they were £1.99 each. And yeah, these just hold a dear place in my heart. I remember buying them and reading them at university and just being very, very thrilled with them. So, and Reading with Jade says that her favourite topping to toast is strawberry jam. And now I've got 3 back-to-back picks from shelf 7. So Lettre Girl picked book number 13 on shelf 7, and that is The Female Persuasion by Meg Wolitzer. This is a wonderful front cover, isn't it? The publisher sent me this earlier this year. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to remind myself what it's about. It says here, Greer Kadeski is a shy college student when she meets the woman who will shape her life. Faith Frank, dazzlingly persuasive and elegant, she has been a pillar of the women's movement for decades, a figure who inspires others. Hearing Faith speak for the first time in a crowded campus chapel, Greer, misunderstood yet full of longing for an ambition that she can't quite place, feels herself changed. And then, astonishingly, Faith invites her to make something out of this new sense of purpose, with a career opportunity that leads her down the most exciting and rewarding path as it winds towards and away from her meant-to-be love story with high school sweetheart Corey and the future she had always imagined. Sounds very, very interesting. And Lettre Girl says her favourite thing on toast is homemade blackberry jam. Now, I've just said I don't like jam on toast, but stick the word homemade in front of anything and you've piqued my interest. The next book from shelf 7 was picked by L.K. Klein. She picked book number 23, which is Evelyn Waugh, Brideshead Revisited. David's mum got me a whole selection of these wonderful Penguin Modern Classics for Christmas one year, this being one of them. I don't think, disgustingly, I've read any. No, that's a lie. That is a lie, because I have read Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, but I haven't read this. And you know what? The worst thing is, I don't even bloody know what it's about. It looks back to the golden age before the second one. I don't need to tell it. I'm sure everyone in the world knows what this is about, apart from me. So yeah, that is what that's about. And L.K. Klein likes on her toast, Camembert. Good pick. And the last book from shelf 7 is picked by Ali Parry, and she picked book number 49, and that is Sufficient Grace by Amy Elspeth. Now, I got this from Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings. She used to run a subscription box where she promoted smaller independent publishers, and one of the smaller independent publishers book she picked was the independent publisher Scribe, and it was Sufficient Grace by Amy Elspeth. I haven't read it. I was due to read this as a buddy read with Vanessa from the channel Chabosky. She's not currently making channel videos at the moment. She's one of my fave channels ever. And we're supposed to buddy read this, and I was just so bloody useless I never got around to it. So I must read this again at some point. It's quite wintry front cover, isn't it? Maybe it'll appear at winter. Ooh. And Ali Parry, girl after my own heart, her favourite toast is Marmite, like me. Loved Marmite. And then Amy picks shelf number 6, book number 39. Shelf number 6 is my Harry Potter shelf. And the book that was book number 39 on there, because there isn't 39 books on there, but I just kept counting until I got to 39, is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This is the Gryffindor edition. I need to get my hands on the Gryffindor edition of the Chamber of Secrets, because eventually I'd like to own all of them. I mean, you don't need to own all of them because I already own all of them. But it would be nice to own all of them. I really like the edges, the page edges of this are made to look like Gryffindor colours. And also the sort of bonus material that you get in this is you get an introduction about Gryffindor, and there's Godric Gryffindor himself. You hear about the house founder, everything to do with the house. There's a map in there of the Hogwarts castle, and then I believe there's quite a bit about the Gryffindor common room, which is exciting, and it has bonus material in the back as well, I believe. It certainly does. So yeah, that is the book there. And Amy's favourite toast, which sounds bloody amazing, cheese and chutney? Yes, please. Miriam and Pages picked shelf 8 and book 23, and that was The Glass Blowers by Daphne du Maurier. This was also bought for me for Christmas by David's mum last year. This is a Daphne du Maurier. Oh, I thought it was a short story collection. It's not. Oh, God, I want to read this now. I've already read the first bloody line. Faithful to her word, Sophie Duval reveals to her long-lost nephew the tragic tale of a family of master craftsmen in 18th century France. The world of the glass blowers has its own traditions, its own languages, and its own rules. If you marry into glass, Pierre Labbé warns his daughter, you will say goodbye to everything familiar and enter a closed world. But crashing into this world comes a violence and terror of the French Revolution, against which the family struggles to survive. It says here, The Glass Blowers is a remarkable achievement, an imaginative and exciting retelling of du Maurier's own family history. I might read that soon. Thank you for reminding me of that book, Miriam and Pages. And her favourite, she says she's got 2 favourites to have on toast. One of them could be cheddar cheese and the other one could be almond butter, both of which I approve of and I would eat. The next one is Maurier Martellaro. She picked shelf 8 also and book 27, and that was We and Me by Saskia da Costa. This is one of the books that I picked up from Simon's house. Whenever I go to visit Simon, I always take my car because he always gives me loads of books that he's getting rid of in his house. This was one of them. This is from a publisher called World Editions, and it publishes translated fiction, majority Dutch translated fiction, and this is translated from the Dutch, and this is about the Van der Sande family, who are neurotic aristocratic Mika grooms her carpets while keeping a close eye on her family and neighbours. Her husband, the self-made Stefan, is building up a career in his pharmaceutical company, which is threatened by scandal. Daughter Sarah, overprotected by her parents and curious for the real life, is finding her own path like a contemporary Madame Bovary or Anna Karenina. She longs for freedom and individuality, but will she find an escape from the claustrophobic family dramas and secrets that surround her? So yeah, and I don't feel like I've heard many this book spoken about on BookTube before, so well done me. And Maria Martellaro likes not mustard and jam, no, butter and raspberry jam. Into the last 3. The third one is, the third to last is Jessica Jones. She picked shelf 4, which is my cloth bound shelf, and book 42, and that is The Fox and the Star by Coralie Bickford-Smith. I said that this is from my cloth bound shelf, so I've got a collection of Penguin cloth bound classics, and all of the front covers are designed by Coralie Bickford-Smith. She's also released, got a message, David. She's also released 2 picture books, the first one being The Fox and the Star, and I just love this. The illustrations in it are absolutely amazing. It's beautiful for like children and adults alike, and David and I have a lovely time reading this and sometimes have a little cry over it, so that's very, very nice. And Jessica's favourite thing to have on toast is jam. The penultimate toast and book selection question is from Emma from Drinking by My Shelf, who has a channel, and I will link that channel down below. Hello Emma, how are you? She picked shelf number 1, which, as I've previously stated, is my favourite shelf, and book number 16. That is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This is a book that I read not even last year, the year before, but it appeared in my favourites. I really, really loved it. It's actually not that long, and I could do with giving it a reread. It's under 200 pages. It follows a woman whose name is Yong Hai. She decides, she's Korean, and she decides that she wants to become a vegetarian, which is a almost unheard of thing in Korean culture. You hear about her decision from 3 different points of view: her husband, her sister, and her brother-in-law, and you hear about Yong Hai's sort of slow decline mentally as she becomes a vegetarian, and what the surrounding people of her life think about. It's translated from the Korean, and yeah, I really, really love this. I got it out from the library originally and read it, and then I went to Edinburgh a few years ago and met up with Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts and Brittany, who had a channel, Under the Radar Books. She hasn't uploaded for a very long time, and we had a wonderful day of book shopping, and I ummed and ahed about buying this in Blackwell's, because I already had 3 books that I wanted to buy in Blackwell's, and often in the bookshop Blackwell's they do 3 for 2, and this was one of them. But because I'd already read it, I was like, I don't need that. The other 3 I want more, I will get those. And then went into a bookshop called Armchair Books, which is a second-hand bookshop, and picked up this almost brand new, I mean, it is basically brand new, edition of The Vegetarian for £3, even with a Blackwell sticker on the back. So yeah, bargain and wonderful. So that was that. And Emma's favourite thing to have on toast, which is also one of my favourite things to have on toast, and that is mushrooms. Yum. the last person that gave me some numbers is my very dear boyfriend, Beardy David, and he gave me 6 and 32, and that is, I've got to hurry because my camera light's flashing, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child parts 1 and 2, the script edition. Didn't really like the story, but as a stage show, absolutely fantastic, and adored it. And David actually bought me tickets for Christmas, so this all just links in beautifully. And David's favourite thing to have on toast is peanut butter and strawberry jam. Bit dry? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, that is my on the shelf. Those are my on the shelf tags. I'm really panicking because the light's flashing. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for having toast, and I will see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye.